All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the orientation to the 2025 Community College Innovation Challenge Bootcamp. I am Ellen Hawes, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs with the American Association of Community Colleges. And it's my pleasure to welcome my co-presenters today, Courtney Larson, Program Manager for ATE, which is the Advanced Technological Education Program, which funds this challenge. And if you haven't seen a lot of emails from Courtney, I'm sure you have, you're going to see many more on this journey with us until June. And so Courtney will be talking with us today as well. And Joe Schreiber, who is the principal with Matmar Productions and one of our lead instructors for the boot camp. And Joe's been with this boot camp since the beginning in 2015. So thank you, Joe. And first and foremost, congratulations. We are so excited that you've been selected as finalist teams to attend the boot camp and that you'll be joining us in June. For your reference, this boot camp is managed by the American Association of Community Colleges in a longstanding partnership with the National Science Foundation. We have been a longstanding partner with NSF focused on STEM technician education and innovation for more than 30 years now, and this is our 9th year, so this is relatively new, but our 9th year hosting the Community College Innovation Challenge, and we're grateful to NSF for their support. So to go forward to talk about what we're going to do in this presentation, we're going to give you a little bit of overview of the boot camp, what's to come, what you need to do to prepare. So we're going to cover travel and logistics. I think many of you have already done some travel, so that's amazing. We'll cover the basic agenda for the boot camp, expectations for participating. We'll talk about the student poster session and the team pitch presentation, the judging process, go over resources, and have an opportunity to answer any questions that you have. And now for the finalist teams. Hopefully you've all seen the press release, but this is truly one of the most rewarding projects that Courtney and I manage at AACC. So thank you for being a part of it. You should be immensely proud of making it to the finalist rounds. You all went through a really competitive process. A team of field experts representing principal investigators, so those that lead advanced technology grants for the National Science Foundation, and AACC staff vetted your ideas and the science and technology and the feasibility behind those ideas. And again, we're very excited that we have 12 finalist teams competing in this year's competition. Since I know you're probably wondering, you represent the top 12 teams out of 48 applications, representing 194 individuals. So you're now joining a high caliber group of students who've made it to the finalist round and on to the Innovation Bootcamp. So on these next 2 slides, you'll see the finalist teams who you'll be meeting in June, and you really will establish some wonderful networking and collaborations with these teams, and you'll see the colleges that they're from. So ACC did release a press release on April 29th, and we sent a promotional toolkit directly to your college team and your college's PR office that shares information about the challenge with some templates for a press release and social media announcement. And we've seen some lovely action already on LinkedIn congratulating the teams, which is amazing. So again, feel free to share the good news about your selection as a finalist team. And with that, congratulations. So congrats to Bergen Community College, Coalinga College, Dallas College, Des Moines Area Community College, Henry Ford College, Holyoke Community College, Houston Community College, Irvine Valley College, J. Sargent Reynolds Community College, Middlesex Community College, Perimeter College at Georgia State University, and Tulsa Community College. You're amazing. We're so excited to see and work with all of you in June. So let's talk about the boot camp. We're going to go over the what, where, when, who, and why, and just provide this type of overview. So to just go over the what. So as mentioned earlier, this is designed as a hands-on learning opportunity for the finalist team to further develop their ideas with a focus on building innovation, entrepreneurship, and strategic communication skills. So the science and technology has been vetted, and now you're going to focus on receiving instruction and coaching throughout the boot camp, designed specifically to prepare you for the student poster session and the final team pitch presentation, which we will cover shortly. In terms of the where, the event will be held at the Royal Sonesta Hotel in Washington, D.C. on June 9 through 12th. And it's expected that the teams attend the full boot camp. This is where the training happens. This is where it's built. It's designed to build, to prepare you for the judging events where you'll have the chance to win prize monies for the first, second, and third place teams. The boot camp features a public-facing event, which is the student poster session and reception at a venue on Capitol Hill, where you have the opportunity to engage with congressional and STEM leaders, and also a final pitch presentation, which is a closed session just for boot camp attendees that will be happening on the last day of the boot camp on June 12th. So who attends? So all of the finalist teams and their mentors are required to attend. And we've also assembled presenters and experts specializing in entrepreneurship, innovation, and strategic communication to deliver the bootcamp content. And we also include past student participants talking about their innovations and their experiences that they share with you as well. We also have a presenter from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office talking about intellectual property, and industry representatives participating in breakout exercises with the teams. NSF and AACC program staff also attend the boot camp. And we have 2 panels of judges, one for the pitch presentation and one for the student poster session. We're finalizing those judges now, and then we'll have their bios and photos posted to the hub shortly so you can have their information as well. So why attend? Aside from the fact that you're required to, I'd love to turn it over to Joe to talk to you about why you should attend the boot camp and to give you some information on our boot camp partners. Joe?
Thank you, Ellen. And I guess the easiest answer to why you should attend, and because this is the opportunity to have a truly transformative experience. One of the things I love is all the folks that I've been able to connect with on LinkedIn after this. This is actually going to be our 10th boot camp. I can't believe it's going to be our 10th one. And to hear how the boot camps help them, how they're continuing to use it, to see the growth of the projects they had in the program, but also how they personally have evolved. And I look at it with a great sense of pride. So, and at the boot camp, you'll interact with experts, receive coaching, mentoring, guidance during the sessions, and activities, and I use that word activities. This is very interactive that will help you further validate, refine, develop, and potentially implement your novel innovations. So it's designed, the bootcamp that is, to provide really a hands-on learning opportunity to further develop your ideas, and it's with a focus on building innovation, entrepreneurship, and strategic communication skills. So we believe this boot camp offers, like I said before, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to receive expert advice that's intended to help you make some important connections and build skills. Now, I've been working at Temple University now for almost 5 years, and I'll see bits and pieces of what we teach pop up in different undergraduate and graduate courses or special lectures from people who are specialized in communication. So we'll also get you to meet stakeholders through the Student Innovation Poster Session and Reception, interact with National Science Foundation and American Association of Community College staff. And most importantly, you're going to have some fun through the breakouts and session exercises designed to get you networking with one another. There's kind of a magic that happens in that room. Everybody's in this intense experience together. Bonds are formed, and people leave with those bonds afterwards. So we've put together a highly qualified, dynamic, and most importantly, entertaining group of leaders for the various sessions of the boot camp. And the boot camp is designed around the tenets of the NSF program called I-Core. Now, this program teaches NSF grantees to identify valuable product opportunities that can emerge from academic research and offers entrepreneurship training to participants by combining experience and guidance from established entrepreneurs through a targeted curriculum. So that's a mouthful, right? Basically, this will teach you to take your ideas and get them into practice with people who have already done that and can guide you. So from I-Core, we have Grant Warner, who is with DC I-Core and Venture Accelerator. We also have Daria Hall and Sierra Salsa with Fenton Communications, a social change agency to share information on strategic communication skills. And I also serve as an instructor for the CCIC program. As Ellen mentioned, I've been there since the beginning, since 2015, and boy, has this this boot camp evolved, and it has evolved thanks to the feedback and evaluations from everybody who's participated over the last 10 years. Now, I've worked with the National Science Foundation around the country, literally went to 40 different states to train scientists and engineers in strategic communications work. Um, and I currently serve as the general manager at Temple University and mentor a lot of the students in the communications program there. Martha Parham, the American Association of Community Colleges Senior Vice President of Public Relations, will also be working with us as a coach. I can tell you Martha is really passionate about this, and she provides excellent feedback to the teams. And we'll have industry representatives engaging with you through boot camp sessions and exercises, as well as National Science Foundation program directors, their AACC staff. Now, all of these partners have provided their input, their guidance, and expertise into the boot camp content. I'll turn it over to Ellen now. She'll walk you through the boot camp finalist hub, the agenda, and what we have planned for June.
Thanks, Joe. So let me briefly cover the finalist hub. Hopefully you've gone on the web and you've searched through this. This may have been how you connected to our session today, but it's really designed to be a centralized information hub for all the information coming out of the boot camp. In this space, you'll have access to pre-boot camp recordings and slides. So this session is being recorded, the slides and the recording will be posted there, as well as the one we're doing on customer discovery on May 9th. You can find all the travel and logistical information, travel reimbursement forms, ground transportation options. And then we are in the process of finalizing the boot camp agenda, so that will be posted shortly. But all guidelines, materials, judging criteria are included. And the bios of all instructors, coaches, and our judges will be added shortly. We're just in the process of finalizing all of those as well. So you'll have a nice complete package online, as well as we'll give you materials when you arrive in person. To give you an overview of the agenda for the boot camp, you're going to see a very basic framework on these couple of slides, but we will, as I said, post a more descriptive agenda probably by the end of next week. Monday is the day we kick things off. We have you come in for welcome and introductions, and then we start with a panel of past CCIC bootcamp graduates or students that have participated last year and the couple years prior to that, so you can see where they are now as a result of the bootcamp and with their innovations. And then we hit the ground running with a session on the power of stories and a very highly interactive design thinking exercise. And during that time, we also will be holding a separate meeting for faculty, administrator, mentors to discuss their role at the boot camp. And then we end with a wrap up of the day and an optional walking tour of the DuPont Circle area for students that might be interested in meeting others and taking a walk through a historic area in DC. And Tuesday, we reconvene bright and early with breakfast. And then we do sessions on signaling innovation and customer discovery, learning how to be memorable and persuasive. And then we prepare you to go straight over to Capitol Hill. A bus will pick us up from the hotel, take us over there for the student poster and reception. And we will go over that in a little bit as well. On Wednesday, we reconvene. We'll debrief on Capitol Hill, which is usually a nice high to come back and to talk about what has happened at the Hill. We go through some guided mock interviews. We have a mentor meeting, and then we do a debrief on the mock interviews. We have our team from Fenton coming in to do Masters of Marketing and Perfecting Your Pitch. And then the rest of the day, Wednesday, is with coaches. You'll be assigned 2 different coaches that you'll meet during this period. You'll have a period to meet with a coach, a period to do some work, a period to meet with a different coach. So you get the opportunity to meet and cycle through and run your pitch through with various professionals as part of the training. On Thursday morning, we reconvene. We go over the agenda for the day. We have a representative coming in from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. This was a very popular session last year and actually very entertaining for what seems, talking about intellectual property. So we have someone that will be coming to talk with the teams about that. We'll go over the judging criteria, and then we'll give you time to practice your pitch in preparation for the team pitch presentations happening right after lunch. Those will occur from 12:30 to 3. Immediately following, the judges will deliberate, and then we'll have the awards ceremony and reception wrapping up around 5. So you can see the agenda is filled with a lot of content, but also a lot of fun and a lot of amazing opportunities to interact. And now I'll turn the presentation over to Courtney to talk a little bit about logistics. I think some of you have already done this, but we'll go over this and see if you have any questions on the logistics of getting there and getting registered. Courtney?
Thank you. And congratulations again to everyone. We're so excited to see you. In this section, we're going to cover registration, hotel and travel information. And for your reference, this information is all located in your finalist confirmation letter and also available on the finalist hub. For registration for the boot camp is required for all the students and mentors of the 12 finalist teams. There's no registration fee for participants, though we do require you to sign up to attend. As part of the registration process, you'll be asked to approve a waiver of liability and agree to be photographed as part of the event so NSF and ACC can promote the Innovation Challenge or your accomplishments. If you have any questions or issues with the releases, please just let us reach out, or please reach out to us and let us know. You can email us anytime at the CCIC@aacc.nche.edu email address. The participant registration and hotel reservation form is due on Friday, May 9th. And I think I saw like 14 already in, which is amazing. So we really thank you for looking through that and doing it as soon as possible. For hotel reservations, the lodging for the finalist teams will be held at the Royal Sonesta Hotel in Washington, D.C. It's a great hotel right actually down the street from our office. You guys will love it. It's nearby to so many fun things to do. Please note that ACC will make hotel reservations for all the boot camp participants, so don't make your own reservations. When you fill out the form, the participant registration and hotel reservation form, just indicate your arrival and departure date, as well as any room preferences, including if you plan on sharing a room. You're not required to share a room, but sometimes when people travel with their classmates, sometimes they want to share a room. So that's an option. If you want to do it, you just mark it on the form. For hotel costs, the hotel costs for the student team members and mentors are covered for up to 5 nights, June 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. All the nights will be billed to the AACC master account, which means they won't show up on your hotel bill. However, you will be required to present a credit card at check-in to cover any incidental expenses incurred during your stay. So things that if you got food and billed it to your room, things like that, then that you will be responsible for that. I do want to emphasize to use a credit card and not a debit card, because a debit card will put an amount on hold and all these kind of things that you don't want to have to deal with. So if you have a credit card, please use that or work with your mentor to arrange something. If any participants would like to come early or stay late to tour Washington, D.C., you can do so and pay the cost of an additional room. The rate is $269 per night, and the hotel will honor this rate for 3 nights before and after the boot camp, subject to availability. So you will include that on your reservation form when you fill it out. ACC will send the hotel confirmations to each of the attendees once the hotel reservations are made by late May. If you need to make any changes at all to your hotel reservation, including substitutions or cancellations, just reach out to us and we'll take care of it. But I do want to emphasize to do it early. If you know you're going to change your plans, just let us know. That's the most important thing, is to be transparent and let us know what's going on. Please note any hotel changes and substitutions or cancellations need to just be communicated through us. Okay, for travel arrangements, all participants are responsible for making their own travel arrangements. And as Elena said, we see that some of you already have. So we're so happy that you guys are on top of it. ACC will support the cost of travel for student team members and mentors, as well as reimburse round trip travel expenses. For air travel, by a show of virtual hands or raising hands if you're on camera, let us know if you have made your travel arrangements or filled out your form. Can't really see, so I'm scrolling. But thank you for everyone who has done it so far. As a reminder, to make air travel reservations, please contact ACC's travel agent, Terry Tyler. He's very responsive, very good, and have the cost of the airfare directly charged to ACC. This information was sent out in the initial letter, and it's also on the finalist hub. If you have any trouble or any confusion, just please email us. All travel arrangements need to be booked at an economy class fare by May 9th. ACC will not be responsible for overly high fares due to last minute travel arrangements. So for us saying May 9th, that's a month before the event. So that's the best way to get like the best rates going forward. For your reference, the closest airport to the hotel is Reagan National Airport, and the Rail Sonesta is located directly on the Washington Metro Rail system at DuPont Circle if you want to take the Metro from Reagan to the hotel. It's a very, very easy trip. But you also can take a taxi. If your whole team's traveling together, that's often an easier route too. So just know that we will reimburse for that expense. For information on other airports and detailed information about ground transportation and transfer times from the area airport, just look at the resource section on the finalist hub. And again, email if you have any questions. For travel reimbursements, ACC will send out the travel reimbursements forms with the hotel confirmations, and as well as have them on the site at the boot camp, but they're also posted on the finalist hub, so you can take a look at them anytime. For your reference, reimbursable expenses include the train or bus fare, parking that's like airport parking, mileage, which is if you drove to the airport and you want to claim that mileage as an expense, you may do so, and other things listed here. Obviously taxis, Ubers, baggage fees. We get a lot of questions around this, especially from Terry, because so many of the airlines charge baggage fees now that didn't before. And what you do is that's just at your cost, and then you'll get reimbursed for it. So the air flight is booked directly to us, but the baggage fee, which often comes when you check in, you'll just have to pay that fee and then hold on to the receipt, and we'll reimburse you after the fact. Let's see, please note that rental cars are not typically considered as allowable expense. ACC will not reimburse for rental cars unless you drive instead of fly to the boot camp. And that the total rental car expense is lower than the comparable economy-based airfare. So if you can't fly, or if you prefer to fly because it's close by, or prefer to drive because it's easier, or it's only a couple hours away, just send us an email, let us know what's going on, and we will let you know if it's approved for reimbursement. In addition, if you're, oh, sorry, that was my other note. So just email us if you have any questions. If you rent a car and we approve it, then you can't, the mileage is a part of the rental cost, so we can't reimburse for both mileage and rental. But all those things we will tell you if you email us about doing such things. Okay, for travel reimbursements for meals, ACC will also reimburse for meals not offered as part of the boot camp at rates set by the federal government through the U.S. General Service Administration for the area. You can claim the amounts listed on this slide only if those meals are not offered at the event and incurred as part of your travel. For your reference, the boot camp will offer breakfast and lunch at the event, as well as 2 light receptions. And receptions don't count as dinner. So if there's a reception, you can claim dinner for that evening. If you have any questions pertaining to travel, just reach out to us, or take a look at the finalist hub. We think that we've covered everything, but there's always things that we forget. So just send us an email if you have any questions at all. In general, we cover a lot. It's a great event. You don't have a lot to worry about. Your mentor is also a great resource. So just remember to ask questions. So that's all I have regarding travel and hotel, Ellen.
Thanks, Courtney. I don't know, are there any questions at this point? We'll certainly go over the judging criteria and more about the event momentarily, but I did want to pause and see if there were any questions on travel or logistics.
Yeah, I have one question.
Looks like Robbie
Sorry.
has his hand up. Oh,
no.
Go ahead. Sure.
Sorry. You go first. You go first.
Ladies first, please.
Well, if you insist then. So for the meals not provided, should we keep the receipts from anything we spend afterwards?
You don't need receipts for meals. What we do is we use a per diem, and all that information's on the finalist hub, but basically it's just a reimbursable amount per meal. So you can spend what you want on that meal and you'll be reimbursed for just that set amount.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
From
so if you
the
spend
GSA
$50, you get
government.
38. If you spend $20, you get 38. It is a requirement we reimburse at the per diem rates for Washington, D.C.
All right, Courtney, a question for you. So I know if we Uber or take any transportation from the airport to the hotel, it's covered. But what about if we were to go
Yes.
sightseeing on those free times that you give us? And if we ride share, and if we, is that covered if we did any of those whenever allowed? And then if we split the cost, how do we submit 2 receipts or 1 receipt that shows the 2? I mean, how would that work? Or can that work?
Those are great questions, Robbie. Thank you. We do only cover the trips to and from the airport on both sides. So not for sightseeing. If that's if it's for personal, we don't cover it. In terms of splitting the cost, typically one person can claim that, and then we just ask that you all settle up on that. So if you're traveling as a team, usually the mentor or whoever or one person will claim that cost for the whole team. And then if they want to split it personally, they can do so. It's just easier. We just can't delve into it that way. If there are any other more specific questions about that, just feel free to email us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm sorry, I had a quick question.
Sure.
So in the event that, say, I think this might have been answered before, I just wanted clarification, but in the event that you go out to dinner on one of the days that it's not covered with multiple of your team members, so that cost is breaking down and the per diem is provided per each team member for the whole meal, as if you went as a group?
No, so whatever you do on your own time when you have dinner and whoever you go out with, each team member can claim a per diem for their meal. So, it would be just like, you're just claiming for your meal. So it's not a group, it doesn't matter. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, you would fill out each individual will fill out a travel reimbursement form. So you fill out your own form, whether you had dinner with 5 people or you ate by yourself, you claim the $38 for dinner. So each person that goes out to dinner. So the travel reimbursement is to you as an individual. And I think what Ravi was saying with sometimes you might all share an Uber on a covered expense coming from the airport. The difference there would be you wouldn't each put in for $6 of your portion of it. One person would claim that total expense. So that's the only sharing of a receipt that we have seen. For per diems, that goes straight to the individual.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a question. So firstly, on the survey, there's an issue around the hotel departure date, and it only says 2024. So I wasn't sure if I should just put it in as that, or if that was a mistake on the end. You can't change the year date at all. Like if you try to change it, it's gonna say it's not acceptable.
Yeah, only I think it's just a date validation, but good point. Yeah, the form.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it and update it, but just put in whatever the that day of the week would be, and we can make that change on the back end. So don't
Jonathan
worry
shared
about
that
that.
it seems to be fixed, Courtney.
Yes.
Okay, so we can submit it even though it says 2024. We can submit it like that.
Yes.
Okay. And I have another
But-
question
Sure.
regarding, I'm sorry.
No, you're great. Go ahead.
Okay, regarding hotel arrival and hotel departure, I wanted to ask because it only said for the nights of, I believe, the 8th to the night of 12th. When would we be allowed to actually enter the rooms, right? Because it only says the night. So I was wondering like what specific time we would be allowed to check in. Maybe we should come around the afternoons or mornings, and when would we be able to leave within that like time frame? Mornings, evenings, next day?
Typically people come in the night before, so the 8th, and usually hotels, the rooms are available in the afternoon. I don't have that information right now
I
for the
think
Royal
the check-in
Sonesta,
is
but
3 o'clock for the Royal
yeah, 3
Sonesta.
o'clock.
Okay.
And in terms of departure, everything, there are some people who fly out Thursday evening. Depends on your schedule and where you're coming from. Everything wraps up at 5 o'clock. We do ask that you at least stay for the awards reception and hang out with folks. But we have had people catch a flight at 8 o'clock that night. We've had some people spend the night and then check out the next day. So if you're checking out the next day, that's now your personal time. You could leave whenever you wanted, if you will. But we're asking, if you stay through the weekend, we're no longer obviously covering your meals. You're on your personal time, but we just ask that you leave anytime after 5 o'clock on Thursday evening.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. If there are other questions, again, feel free to put them in chat. We'll do a final question break at the end, but I'm going to move ahead so we can go through some of the other pieces of the boot camp. But yes, any questions on travel or logistics, please just feel free to email us, talk to us about this, and we will go over these travel expense forms at the boot camp. And if something's not right with it or you need to discuss it with us, Courtney will work with you one-on-one as well. So with that, Joe, why don't we talk about judging criteria?
Yeah, so we're going to get down to what everybody really wants to know, the inside information. How do you win this thing? So we're going to share exactly how you can win this thing. Is all you need to do is just match your performance to the criteria that the judges have. So in a nutshell, to win it, each team must distinguish itself during 2 marquee bootcamp events. Number 1, we got the Student Innovation Poster Session. That's on Tuesday, June 10th. Then the final team pitch presentation on June the 12th. Now, these 2 events, while both great fun and unparalleled learning opportunities, they also showcase each team's entrepreneurial savvy under vastly different circumstances. So for the student poster session and reception, this one challenges you to engage with important stakeholders while persuasively and, most importantly, extemporaneously signaling the value of your innovations through your poster and through verbal interactions. The second, the team presentation, the pitch presentation, this one tests your ability to pitch the significance, the merits and worth of your innovation directly to the judges through a formal prepared presentation. Now, for each of the 2 activities, this distinguished panel of judges will evaluate and score each team using unique criteria established specifically for these separate events. Now, these individual event scores in turn are then weighted. So follow me on this. 30% for the student poster session, and then 70% for the team pitch presentation. So it's combined to produce the total scores and drive the judges' final decisions. Now, remember, teams must perform well during both the student poster session and the team pitch presentations to win the challenge. So even though the pitch presentation is weighted more than the poster session, that doesn't minimize your need to perform well in both of them. Let me tell you one thing about the judges. You don't want to get in your mind, well, oh, it's intimidating. These judges are coming in, and who are they? And they're on your side. They are your biggest fans. That's why they keep coming back to do this. That's why they make time out of their busy schedule. This is the fun part of their lives that doesn't have the stress of everything else they do. Yeah, it's stressful for you if you choose to make it that way because you're being judged, but for them, they want to see you succeed, and they'll all make sure to be available to you on LinkedIn and to help you in your careers moving forward. So just know that about the judges. Now, the criteria that the judges use score these elements is shared on the screen and is also available in the Bootcamp resource platform. And I encourage you to go back to this before you get to Washington, D.C. for the Bootcamp. Know this judging criteria inside out, because if you know what you need to do to win ahead of time, it'll be in your mind as you go through the boot camp. Everything you learn says, oh yeah, that's what I need to do to perform well. So I really encourage you to become familiar with this. So for the poster innovation session, does the team's poster identify societal need? Do you demonstrate how the innovation satisfies this need? Communicate the innovation's novelty, feasibility, market viability, and also substantiate the innovation's ability to produce measurable benefits. Do the team members, through their engagement with the visitors, so picture this, all right? You have your whole team together at this poster session on Capitol Hill, where you're going to be engaging with legislators and other folks. You're all together as a team, and you're all going to be engaging. So as a team, you want to exhibit enthusiasm, knowledgeably represent the innovation. So everybody on the team needs to know how to do that, convincingly champion the innovation's value and significance, effectively explain the science behind and the uniqueness of their innovation. We'll get more into that later. When we say effectively explain the science, it's not like you're talking to one of your colleagues or your science professor. You're talking to somebody who isn't as scientifically literate as you. And a big part of this boot camp is teaching you how to communicate to that audience. So you want to make clear how society benefits, proactively engage and respond to visitors' questions, identified interests or needs, and we'll teach you some really cool techniques on how to handle all kinds of questions. You want to express optimism and vision. I mean, after all, you have to show how whatever you're doing provides a brighter vision for the future. And you want to reflect positively on your team and your institution. So during the student innovation poster session, the judges will be focusing on the team itself and how well you interact with visitors through the reception. Judges will be both spectators and participants, meaning that they'll not only be observing each team in action, but they'll also be diving in to ask questions and engage team members directly. And I will tell you, that traditionally has been one of the most gratifying parts of this. When you see the judges engage and you're able to communicate well with them, that's when the teams really start to really light up. So for the team pitch presentations, each team will make their pitches in front of the other finalist teams directly to the judges, much like a presentation you might make to gain budget or project approval. So I'll have more to say about the team pitch presentations in a few minutes, but for now, let me turn this over back to Ellen to talk a little bit more about the student innovation poster session. Ellen?
Thanks, Joe. So again, ACC and NSF are very pleased to host the student poster session and reception. This is a special part of the boot camp, as I said, is the only part of the boot camp that is open to the public, to invited stakeholders to participate in. So that again is on Tuesday, June 10th from 5 to 7. We invite congressional members, community college leaders, STEM stakeholders, congressional staff, and other guests that are invited to engage with you to learn about your ideas and propose solutions. And much like the judges are there to, really to help bolster you up, these attendees are there as well. They're enthusiastic. They're excited to see what you have to share. So it's actually a very welcoming reception. So this is, again, a very exciting opportunity for you to try your hand at communicating to decision makers about your innovation and to show off your great work. We are actually in the process of finalizing the venue on Capitol Hill. Those always take a little bit of time to finalize. And we're also developing an online invitation for the student poster session and reception. And we'll send that your way so you can extend that invitation to your institution to anybody that may be in the Washington, D.C. area that would like to attend the student poster session. In addition, AACC sends an invitation to each of your senators and congressional representatives, alerting them to your selection as a CCIC finalist and the opportunity to attend the reception to meet with you and to learn about your projects. And as we just talked about, this is also a part of the bootcamp judging, an opportunity for you to engage with the CCI judges to view your posters, and that helps with the criteria for selecting the top 3 winning teams, as Joe just discussed. Just to give you a few visuals of interactions, we've held this on the Senate side, on the House side, in the Library of Congress. So we'll see where we end up. We will likely be on the Senate side again this year, but we will share that venue and that information as soon as it is confirmed. But you can see some examples from past interaction. And just to give you an overall schedule for the event, again, this time frame may shift slightly, but for now, we're anticipating the buses would depart the hotel at 3:15. You would arrive to Capitol Hill around 3:45. We do allow, or you would arrive and then get ready to set up your posters. We'll go over this at the boot camp as well, but you would be going through what is similar to airport security to get into Capitol Hill. You would set up your posters. We would have the poster session from 5 to 7, and then the buses return to the hotel pretty immediately following the session around 7:30. Just talking about your poster, because this is something you'll need to prepare ahead of the boot camp and bring it with you. You're going to need to ask yourself what someone is going to learn from your poster and why they should care about your innovation. I mean, all of your innovations seem to touch things that you're all passionate about. A lot of that can be conveyed in your poster. So details on font and formatting are in the Student Innovation Poster Session Guidelines, again, available on the resource platform, and we can send a link to them following this session as well. But your poster should include the title of your project, your team name, the name of your community college. You want to state the problem that you're addressing, the steps taken to study the problem, and 2 or 3 of the main results from that research. So 2 or 3 ways you're addressing that problem, the results from that research, and your proposed solution to that problem. Poster preparations. So you have a 36 by 48 display board. Posters do not need to fill that space, but they cannot exceed that display board area. We ask that this is the student's work. You can certainly use the college's official logo or photos if you use graphics. If you're using something that's not yours, it needs to be attributed to the source, but certainly think of it as an academic poster where you're coming up with your problem, your solution, and the research you undertook to get to that point. And you'll need to submit a team confirmation form due by May 9th, which includes an abstract about your poster, which we will use in the program for this event. So posters should be printed on a thin poster paper or laminated paper so you can ensure it'll be affixed to the poster board. AACC will provide the boards themselves and the materials to affix it. If you want pins, if you want Velcro, I think we've got double-sided tape, but we've got a bin with just about every way you could affix your poster to the board, so you can take your pick. But again, all materials must be printed and poster ready in advance of arriving to the boot camp, ready to be affixed to the poster board. There will not be printers available on site. So when you go into the boot camp, you'll be bringing your poster, rolled up or in a tube. You will physically hand carry that through security. We will have the boards and all the other materials already there for you. In terms of poster formatting, just again, these are in the guidelines, but you'll want to think about design that the top of the poster should be large with easy to read, the title of your project, your team name, the name of your college. We have some guidelines on font. You're going to want it to be, read by a few feet away so someone can be caught with it and know they're coming up to speak with your college. Visuals, we do encourage you to use visuals, photographs, graphs, illustrations. But we do ask that, display and presentation elements are your work. So this is the student team members. College logos, official college images are acceptable to use for posters. Again, the team confirmation form is due on May 9th, and you can see detailed session guidelines and abstracts. Again, this abstract that we ask you for to put in the poster session program, there are samples of that abstract. So think about how you're writing that. Is that someone with a program, looking to see what your presentation, your poster is about? So it's just a little succinct. Some of you have done this already with your applications. You can modify it for the poster session program, but we ask you to submit one with the poster session reception in mind. Okay, now that we've covered the student poster session, Joe, I'm going to ask you to go back and talk about the final team pitch presentation guidelines.
All right, so thank you, Ellen. So remember, we mentioned the poster sessions on Tuesday. Then you get a couple of days to get ready for the big final pitch presentation. That's on Thursday, June the 12th. And we provided some guidance about the criteria for the judges for the poster session. And we mentioned that's 30% of your score. And the pitch presentation, that's 70% of your score. So ahead of the team pitch presentation, each finalist team must determine if they'll have a designated spokesperson or have multiple team members contribute to a part of their team's presentation. Now, either option is acceptable, and it's up to the team to decide, but just know that what's going to happen is the entire team is going to get up to make the pitch. One person could speak, or each one of you can be part of it. So that's something you figure out ahead of time. So, and at the appointed time, the students who make up each team will be asked to come up to the front of the room. All team members need to be there, as I mentioned, and the judges may and likely will call upon team members to expand on or clarify aspects of the team's pitch presentation, following the initial pitch. So you've got a 5-minute pitch, then the judges will ask questions, and everybody should be ready to ask those questions, whether you were the main presenter or not. So I mentioned 5 minutes. That's a hard 5 minutes. When the 5 minutes is up, the buzzer goes off, and that is it. So it's just the way to be fair to everybody. So during the team pitch presentation, the judges will be paying keen attention, and they're going to be carefully listening to ensure that the spokespersons clearly identify the societal problem, the need, or the opportunity innovation addresses, crisply explain how the innovation distinctively solves the problem, meets the need, or pursues the opportunity, compellingly speak to how society will benefit as a result, directly urge listeners to support further development of the idea. Don't be bashful, don't be shy, tell them what you need, and persuasively convey a complete story, and we'll talk a lot about how to create stories, that affirms the innovation's value and marketplace viability. Then, at the conclusion of each presentation, the judges will be invited to question each team's members, as I mentioned, about the team's innovation, and each team member needs to be able to answer the question. So nobody can kind of hide in the background and hopefully they, be sitting in the background saying, hope nobody calls on me. Everybody needs to be ready, and we'll teach you how to be ready. Now, you can use notes or cue cards if you want to deliver your presentation, but no other visual aids or props are permitted. We have to limit this just to keep everything fair. There'll be one PowerPoint backdrop slide that each team will be permitted to use, and we encourage you to make sure you use one. So finally, these guidelines, as well as the general criteria we reviewed area, like I mentioned, are available in the Bootcamp Finalists Hub. They'll be circulated directly to the teams in a follow-up to this webinar. And like I said, get familiar with them while you can. Now, most importantly, during the bootcamp itself, You'll be receiving training, tips, assistance, individualized coaching that will help you confidently and convincingly communicate your innovation and its value during the student innovation poster session and the team pitch presentations. You're not alone. We are there to help. And I can tell you, for me personally, I make this a full-time gig for the week because I'm staying at the hotel. So if you bop into me after hours and you want to practice something and deliver a pitch, well, let's go for it. All right. You'll have the opportunity to also practice in official sessions during the team pitch presentation on June 12th. You'll be getting coaching in some of these sessions as well. Now, as we look ahead to the boot camp, I'm going to share a few final thoughts from my perspective on what is to come, as well as to clue you in on some resources you can take advantage of as you continue your boot camp preparations. So to earn your way into this group of finalists, your innovations have had to go through this whole gauntlet of scientific assessment. They were vetted for their feasibility, viability, and scientific merit. And we know that's no mean feat in itself. And you should be justifiably proud for having passed muster as a CCIC finalist. But becoming a finalist is only a launching point for the CCIC journey. There's much more to come. Now, until now, each team's been looking inward, right? You've been looking inward, focusing on problem identification, ideation, solution development, including the science behind your ideas in detail, right? Resource management, solution design, and maybe even for some of you, prototyping and fabrication. But between now and the boot camp, you'll continue to address these aspects internally with your teams and mentors. But starting now, and most certainly during the boot camp itself, your focus will shift. Over the next few weeks, and especially during the boot camp, you'll be turning your gaze more and more outward as you begin peering into the far broader, sometimes chaotic and always intriguing innovation ecosystem. And you'll start exploring the concepts, ideas, and disciplines by which novel ideas become successful products and processes that materially benefit people and society. So along the way, you're going to discover and come to understand concepts and skills like these. You might have heard of some of these terms: lean startups, the business model canvas, design-centered thinking, value propositions, pitching and signaling value, identity creation, and something really important called customer discovery. And we'll spend a lot of time on that. In fact, customer discovery is so central to the process that sees ideas become society benefiting breakthroughs that the entire next webinar coming up in May 9th deals exclusively with what that is, how to do it, and how the customer discovery effort you're expected to undertake for participating in the bootcamp. But you needn't wait for next week to start exploring customer discovery. You can get a head start in the webinar. I encourage you to do this by watching 3 short videos that address pre-planning and the customer interview process. And by the way, what goes on in the bootcamp is incredibly interactive, and it's a real fun part of it. Now, links to these videos, as well as the links to all bootcamp resources, again, available in the finalist hub. Now, before turning things over to Ellen, let me simply say that all of us, and especially the entire instructor and coaching team, are looking forward to meeting all of you and working with you this coming June. I can tell you that personally, this is my favorite event of the year. I love this more and more every year that we do it. I can't wait to meet all of you. I know there'll be some familiar faces, and hello to all of you out there. And I can't wait to meet you, and looking forward to seeing you in DC. Ellen?
Thanks, Joe. So let's just cover a few other basic questions, and then we'll see what questions you have for us. Just to help with packing, we'll go over attire for the event. So we suggest casual to business casual throughout the week. Be comfortable. We do a lot of exercises, a lot of interactivity. But you'll want to think about, business attire for the student poster session and reception on Wednesday, though we've seen teams do the team, they've had college logoed shirts. That's certainly acceptable. Some teams also dress professionally or the same way for the team pitch presentation. So for those two events, you might want to think about business attire, but for the rest of the boot camp, please be comfortable. We do a lot of rolling up our sleeves. And specifically on Tuesday, we tell you, we give you time to go change and get dressed for the Hill as worked into our time frame. So you don't have to worry about that from the early morning on Tuesday. In terms of evaluation, Joe mentioned that we have been running this event since 2015, and we try to improve upon it every year. It has seen quite an arc since we started, and that is thanks to the feedback, the very thoughtful feedback from all of you. So we want to make you aware that as part of the evaluation of this boot camp, we will issue a pre-event survey. So about a week before the event, you're going to see, we'll send an electronic survey. We do ask you please complete that survey. And then, so that's going to be coming, look for that. And then you'll have a survey to complete at the end of the event. So as the judges are deliberating following the team pitch presentations, we give you a post survey so you can kind of, hopefully decompress as you write impressions or thoughts for us on how to improve and what worked and didn't work for you. So we do very, very, very strongly encourage you to complete these surveys. They only help us to better serve students and in designing this event. Just in terms of some upcoming dates, you've heard it a lot, but next Friday is a big one. So Friday, May 9th, again, we'll be back here with Grant Warner talking about customer discovery. That is also the day that your registration and hotel reservation form is due. Again, any questions on that? Courtney texted me that she has updated it, so the dates are all corrected. So thank you for that notification. But when we send out hotel confirmations to the teams, we'll ask you to make sure we have your dates correct. So there's another opportunity to correct it if we've missed something. But please go ahead and submit. And then that team confirmation and project abstract form, which we mentioned, which really helps us prepare for the student poster session, is also due on the 9th. And then that single PowerPoint slide. Many people wait to the boot camp to do this because you've gone through training and then you've decided, oh wait, you have one slide behind you, and that is your only visual aid for the 5 minutes. I get this question a lot. Unfortunately, no animations. It is a static slide so that you can use. But yes, you can use a graphic. You can use a single image. You can put text on there. We just ask that you don't overwhelm with text because you don't want judges reading, you want them listening to you. So something that complements your pitch. And those we collect, we'll give you a link to upload. And I think that's actually already on the hub. You can upload those slides, or you can, physically, if it gets down to it, if you want to email it, because we're putting them together in real time, preparing for the pitch competition, but we'll need them by 11 a.m. On the last day of the boot camp, Thursday, June 12th. So with that, I think that's all that we had. We realize this is a lot of information. You're going to hear from us pretty continuously until June. So we will send a follow-up email with the hub, and here's the link specifically to guidelines, just so you're aware of these things. We will keep reminding you ahead of May 9, you're going to get reminders to do these forms as well as to join us for customer discovery. This webinar and the slides should be posted to the hub by Monday. And then as we make updates to the hub, if we've got the agenda or the bios of the judges posted, we alert you to those things as well. And as Courtney has stressed, throughout, please email with any questions. We're here to help. Certainly, anything you need to ask or want clarified, we're happy to do so. So with that, Courtney, I don't know if there are any questions in chat or if anyone wants to ask a question. We're happy to take them any way they come. We always budget, I think we have till 2:30. We always budget a lot more time than we need because we want to be available to answer questions. So, we're here for the next 30 minutes if we've got questions, and if we've got questions for 10, we'll let folks go, but just know that we have definitely budgeted time to address anything. So feel free to ask away if you've got questions.